You want everything the same color? Give me a day or two. Way back when I lived in a student dormitory in less than city in the Netherlands. This wasn't a US-style dorm. Each student had their own room. But we shared a shower, a toilet and a kitchen. Between 16 people. Oh, joyful days. Anyhow, by the time I entered the flat, it was already 30 years old and falling to bits. So the student housing department decided to renovate the building. Basically stripping it. We all got replacement rooms and a sum of money to PSS off without making a fuss. So far, all good. Cue my neighbor's exit. By contract, we had to leave the room as we found it. That meant seeing to it that all the power plugs worked, and filling up all the holes you'd made for hanging posters and lamps on the wall. It had become something of a tradition to perform the latter task using toothpaste. It was mainly laziness since proper toothpaste is a good deal more expensive than wall filler. Anywho, it's what most of us did. Except that my neighbor brushed her teeth with periodontics, which uses a sort of off-pink, Adobe-ish color of paste, and stupidly used said brand to fill the holes in her wall. So come inspection time, the holes she had filled with it on a white wall stuck out like sore thumbs. After about a week she received a letter stating that she needed to make sure the walls were uniformly the same color. Or face a 1,000 guilder, about 800 euros in today's money, fine plus the loss of her 300 guilder deposit, within 3 days. This in spite of the fact that the rooms would be demolished shortly after, and that the student housing department was very lax when they actually had to do any repairs. After about 3 minutes of indignation, we threw together enough funds to visit the DIY store armed with a tube of periodontics toothpaste. Had a can of paint mixed with exactly that color. Returned, and repainted the entire room, including everything in it, in solid periodontics pink. When the inspector showed up a week later, he just stood there flabbergasted while my neighbor shoved him his own letter in his face. The relevant sentence about uniformity indicated in yellow marker. She never heard anything about it again. Edit. Spelling errors. As a PardonTax user myself, my first thought was that I could only imagine what that must have looked like. Then I remembered the bathroom in my old apartment back in Belgium and realized I don't need to imagine it. That said, this was undoubtedly my favorite part of the post. Sorry. Edit. Spelling errors. Don't feel bad. I am a native English speaker and I make a lot of spelling mistakes myself. That's great. I would have just fought it, though, bringing up the fact that they were being demolished before anyone else would be using them. Their logic was kinda really dumb tbh. When a roommate and I were vacating an apartment, I told her to fill the nail holes with toothpaste. She used the 3-color striped kind. Also, I don't know why, but using spelling instead of spelling just sounds and looks so good. I will use it as often as I can. I really hike it. By the time I entered the flat, it was already 30 years old and falling to bits. I went to college in the US. Sophomore year, second year of college, university. The door frame in my room had BG+AR04 carved into it. It was 2003 at the time. The vandalism hadn't been fixed in 99 years. I love how the edit of spelling errors is misspelled. I would have gone for a nice thick coat of black paint myself. That's a thing of beauty. When we first moved into our house, we were having a major ant problem coming through the bathroom window. I didn't have caulk and there was 100 of them filing in at 2 a.m. So I grabbed what I had on hand, toothpaste, and Vaseline, I used the butt of an old toothbrush and went to town caulking the whole edge around the window. 2 years later, the caulk is still there. And there hasn't been a single ant since. Spelling errors. As an F1 fan, this is extra funny. I am laughing at the edit for spelling errors being misspelled. Tears of joy. I can remember seeing guys take the 1L container of wall filler and empty it out into a disposable pail. Then proceed to put the wall filler container into the hole. That container had a nice flat bottom. Then proceed to use a flat edge to push the wall filler around the container to make the hole in the wall disappear. Depending on the size of the hole in the sheetrock, alternate empty containers were used. The spelling error is 100% my favorite part. Inspired. Their fault for bugging intelligent university students. Wow, my sister has a nearly identical story except for the malicious compliance. In the US, 4 roommates. Blue gel. Aim. But the roommate paid $100 fine. I had a hard time believing that this person could be in college. 30 years is old? The dorm I stayed in Oxford was 400 years old. I'm impressed they replaced them so quickly. Spelling. Closing parenthesis. Hilarious and brilliant. This is the kind of MC I live for.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Eracast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.